This is Marc Ponzio. I'm here as your commentator for the BCC finals match from February 17th, 2024. This match will feature David and Marc versus Summer and Mikail in a race to 9 points. This is the finals round. Here we get going with the volley for serve. Looks like Marc won. And he's going to let Mikail shoot first. Play will follow around as usual. Mikail drains his first 20. Let's see what David can do. He comes just a little bit short on the 20 there, leaving Summer with an awkward sort of hanger off to the side. A little bit of a tricky shot, especially straight on. She just sort of knocked it out and stuck on the board. Looks like Marc's going to try and do a little bit of a tap in, or he sort of rolls the wrong way and ends up on the outside. That's actually a decent position, so Mikail can't really get the 20 out of that. Let's see what Mikail can do with that piece, though. Likely just a clear. And Mikail manages to hit and stick with the clear. Strategically, nothing wrong there. David's going to try maybe a tap in, or at the very least a clear here. And he doesn't really manage either of those things, just sort of moves the pink piece off and gets himself stuck in the 15, which is fine. Mikail and Summer are conferring about the best way to approach this. Looks like she just going for the clear from the outside on the right there. She manages to hit it, but doesn't manage to clear it. Seems to be going around a bit. Let's see, Marc's sizing up his angles, trying to figure out what he wants to do. I think he's looking for the double takeout from that far left side there. Let's see what he can do with this. He manages the double takeout. Probably didn't want to roll all the way out there, but managed it just the same, so that wasn't bad. Mikail's got to figure out how he wants to handle this as well. Deciding if he wants to go into the house or stay on the outside. At this point, Summer and Mikail are up at 20, so he probably just wants to stick to the outside. Oh, he sort of snuck around and hit the inside one, but he did manage to bounce back out, so he actually ended up in a really good position. Probably a more challenging shot, but it worked out well. David manages a clear and sticks on the outside. At some point, the blue team will have to get back into it a bit more. They do need to catch up for that deficit in 20s. They do have the hammer, but they're still technically a little behind there, especially with the pieces only on the very outside. Marc shoots for an open 20, comes up a bit short. I think Mikail is wrestling with the angle there because he's got those two blocking pieces right down the center lane, which is making the sort of the touch in a little tricky. And he opts just to stay. It looks like he's opting just to do a double and stay on the outside, so he doesn't have to give the blue team any chance for 20s. He did roll a bit more than I think he was expecting, but it wasn't a terrible spot because there's no obvious or easy 20 there. Marc's making a suggestion about a sort of a tricky angle in, which is halfway blocked by a peg. Let's see what David can do with this. David, trying to avoid the peg, probably slid a little too far to his left and ended up hitting his own piece for a sort of an error there. Okay, Summer's got an open 20. She comes a little short. Marc's got a chance to do a tap in and maybe a takeout. Oh, it just bounced out for him. No good there. Mikail just does a clear. Pink team's looking pretty strong at this point. They have 2-3 pieces in the house. They don't have the hammer, but they're up at 20. The only downside to this position is that David and Marc have a couple of pieces they can try and combo off to try and get a 20. And, you know, there's certain options they have for working with what's going on in the house. We lose picture for a little bit there. David got a nice double clear. Summer has a backboard for her own shot. Let's see if she can drop the 20 on this. She went a little to the left and unfortunately bounced out. Marc has kind of a follow through. He followed through but didn't end up going in the right direction. Sort of a couple of peg pieces in the house. Not much going on right now. I think Mikail's just looking for a decent clear, and that's all he really needs. He loses his own piece that was in the house, but manages to leave at least one on, which is okay. 2 shots left for blue team, 1 shot left for pink team. Let's see what blue can do. Let's see, David's going to try and knock this out and stick in the house through Hogan's Alley. And he hits a peg like so many people who attempted to shoot through Hogan's Alley do. It's just a tough shot, very shallow angle there. Summer manages sort of a hanger. Her piece is hanging over the edge or leaves sort of a hanger. Marc's going to try a follow through. He clears the piece, but ultimately it's not enough points. So pink team, Summer and Mikail are going to take the first 2 points of the match. On to round 2. David's going to lead us off. And he floats right through the house with a Super Steve. Summer is lining up. She comes just so close, but ends up just leaving a hanger. Marc's going to try to drop to the side and see if he can get the 20 out of that. And it looks like it was a little too much juice on it, and he bounced right through. Mikail's looking for maybe an angle shot here. Yeah, clear, and he angled, but it just wasn't the right angle to get a 20. It would have been a very challenging 20 if it was even possible. Marc's making suggestions that David take it from the left side there, try to bounce in. It's again a tricky angle, but maybe possible. David thinks better of it and decides he's more comfortable just to clear. And that worked all right. David managed to bounce out and stay away from the center hole. There's still a possibility of an angle in here, and I think Mikail is suggesting that Summer have a closer look at the angle she has to set up to possibly get into the 20 on that. Okay, so she managed to leave her piece on a peg, not bad. There is still a chance to roll into the house, which I think Marc is trying to do, and he rolled right through, unfortunately. Mikail doesn't have much options here for an angle in because the peg's right in the way, but he's going to do what he can. Probably just end up a clear. Let's see. Manages a clear and actually ended up with a pretty solid position, like hidden behind the 2 pegs there. David's going to try Hogan's Alley again, see if he can't get a little redemption from his previous attempt. And he moved it at least, which is a good thing because now it's an easier shot for Marc or David on the second time around. Summer goes with an open 20, overshoots a bit. Marc's decided if he wants to just play outside of the house. He has a bit of a block from a peg, so he's suggesting that David take that shot towards the 20 while Marc just deals with the outside spot.
I can't as well. I think you've got an angle, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just going to take this one.
I don't think, well, yeah, okay.
Marc does a pretty straightforward hit and stick, even manages to glide in towards a peg with some decent positioning there. Mikail completely misses the shot and just bounces off a peg. There's still about 6 shots left for each team, so we got a little time to go yet. Not the worst error or time for an error in general. David's going to try that little touch in. Usually that's a pretty good shot for him. He's got a good track record with that shot. Unfortunately, he bumped a peg as well.
Nope, not at all.
So let's see what Summer can do. At this point, she'd probably have to go through her own piece just to hit that Bruin. Looks like Mikail's coaching her on how to kind of get that to go, coming in off of sort of an angled bump. And it worked, but she lost her shooter and didn't change the position on the board much. Marc was trying a little tap in, angle in 20, and didn't quite put enough juice on it to make the 20. Let's see, Mikail looks like he wants to try and roll in, but I think he's just going to end up doing a clear on the inside piece, yeah. There's a possibility for a double here for David, which would be reasonable. That would keep one piece in the house and one piece hidden from Summer. David sort of bounces out, puts a little too much speed on it, and ends up almost losing the second blue piece. Mikail recommends Summer just shoot the outside piece. That's a good move, keeping away from the center. Pink team, Summer and Mikail have the hammer this time, so Marc tried a really long angle in and had what looks like a good line, but just not enough speed on it. Okay, so let's see what Mikail can do. Looks like he was trying to do an angle in with a clear on the back side of it, but ended up with just a demotion and a stick in the 15. Let's see what David's got here. There's a possibility of a 20. He does need a clear and or a 20 here to sort of cement a win. Pink team still has hammer, no 20 scored. Not a bad spot, kind of protected by the pegs and some of the other pieces there. Leaves a piece on the board, but still, pink team has the hammer, and they still could. The round could go either way. Let's see what Summer sets up here. She looks like just a clear. So pink has two pieces on the board. Mark's setting up maybe a follow through here. No, he's changed his mind. Looks like he's just going for a straight follow through. Managed to take out, followed through a little, but it didn't go in the right direction to score him a 20. So this is the final shot for Mikail. All he needs to do is knock the middle piece out, and he does. That's the second 2 points are going to go to Summer and Mikail, 0-4. Mark and David to Summer and Mikail. Summer leads us off, misses her 20, goes a little long. Mark gets a demotion, not quite a clear, but leaves a kind of a bad spot. Mikail couldn't quite make him pay. He bounced it right through the hole, unfortunately. Although his line looked good, it was just his power that was a little off. David's going to try a clear. That piece is a little bit pegged, but we'll see what he can do with it. Mark suggests shooting the outside piece because I think Mark has a better angle on the possible 20 from that spot. And David just gets a 20 anyway. Good for him. It was a really nice angle in shot he got from the outside. Very technically challenging. Beautiful shot. Summer's left with an open 20, but Blue has the advantage. She leaves a pretty heavy hanger for Mark. He gets the double clear by just angling off the two pieces. Leaves a heavy hanger that's not really an easy score for Mikail there. There may be a follow through from the right. I think Mikail's just going to go up the center though. See what he gets with this. Yeah, he gets a clear and rolls out. Not really what he wants. Pink team wants to stay in the house at this point and hopefully, manage to manufacture a 20 to catch up to Mark and David, who do have the hammer in this round. Okay, so Summer's looking for possible angle in here. I think she's trying to set it up and just hit it a little too square. Didn't end up going anywhere. Mark's very happy just to play on the outside of the house, away from the center. There's no way Mikail can manufacture any kind of points out of this. He does a hit and stick. David, I think, is going to try to play the outside. He rolls in just a touch, but he's still in a good spot. That's not scoreable. That's not an easy position for Summer. She just has to basically get it clear and maybe get a little bit of a hide with her piece. She didn't manage the off, but it wasn't terrible. But at this point, Blue team's ready to just keep shooting around the outside and avoiding any play towards the middle. Excuse me. Okay, so David's left with he has to go into the house. He might be trying to get a little bit of an angle shot while he's doing it, just to sort of cement the lead. Let's see what he can manage with this shot. He tried the touch 20, but went a little bit too shallow and ended up just swinging right by. Summer now has a reasonable chance for a 20 from her left side, but otherwise it's a little bit tricky. It looks like she's setting up from the middle and is not likely to get a drop back 20 from this angle. She managed to leave a hanger. Mark's just going to clear that piece on the inside. He tried for a follow-through. Probably would have been better if he'd shot the outside piece just to stay out of the house. Then again, there are already pieces in the house. He left Mikail with a tricky angle shot, but it is there. It's a possibility. So it wasn't the best move by Mark. Mikail's figuring out the math. Everyone has, each team has three shots left. He tried to get in off that piece, but it just ended up bouncing around and clearing some stuff out of the house. So Blue's just going to try and clear a few shots and stay on the defensive. Although David looks like he doesn't have much of a line on that outside pink, so he's going for the inside one. Looks like he cleared a few blue pieces, which was not ideal. But it does occasionally happen. Okay, so Summer's got a chance to get an open 20 here, which would really put them in a good position for this round. They need the 20 points to sort of cement their advantage on the board, but Mark tries a tap in, doesn't put enough on it, or hits it too square, and it just sort of drifts up to a hanging 20. This is a really good chance for Mikail to get the points. And he rolls it to the right side accidentally. Okay, so no luck there. Now Mark and David with the last shot are just trying to figure out what they need to win. It looks like they just need to stay on the board to reduce the value of the pink pieces enough so that they win, and there they go. So 2 points go to Mark and David. Blue team is 2-4 against pink team. Coming from behind for Mark and David. Mark scores the opening 20. Mikail goes a little long. Let's see what David can do. I think he's trying sort of a bounce shot. We're going to lose image for a second here. He managed to clear, which is great. Summer is forced to shoot on the outside. There's almost no chance of any kind of rolling in or anything. She just rolls right off the board. Mark's left with an open 20 chance. Let's see what he does with it. Goes for it and ends up with a kind of a heavy hanger for Mikail. Mikail's not having much luck with the heavy hangers. He rolled left this time and ended up outside the house. At this point, David and Mark are happy to stay outside the house. Summer has a bunch of options. Generally, she's going to shoot the middle, though, because she needs to be getting points for her team. Mark's making jokes about which one she should shoot for. All right, let's see what happens here. We got 2 options. Looks like she's going for the follow-through option, which would be the centerpiece there. And she manages not a bad position. She didn't get much follow-through, but pegged in that spot is actually a really good hide in doubles. Mark manages to clear it. Doesn't do much with the shot other than the clear, but that's fine. He's not looking for any 20s. Blue team just needs to kind of ride this out defensively. Mikail finds a peg very effectively, loses his shot. David's going to try for an open 20. And he shoots right through the house. That doesn't make a huge strategic difference for what's going on here. 3 pieces on. Pieces are generally in spots that are not scoreable or not easily scoreable for pink team. So Mark and David are riding this 120 advantage they have at the moment. Summer manages to bounce out of the house by accident. Mark just replaces the piece. Mikail has got to make something happen. Looks like he's going for some kind of double or possibly a half-hole shot to get rid of those pieces in distance. He got a double. Very nice. It doesn't really change the maths enough. Blue team still has a piece hanging out in the 5. David just needs a clear and not to leave a piece where Summer can score. Looks like he's trying Hogan's Alley. If he rolls far enough to the right, that would be a good move. Let's see what goes on here. Yep, he rolled way out to the right, ended up staying out of the house. Mikail might have a shot at that, but we're getting low on shots at this point. So let's see what Summer can do. She does manage 1 clear. Mark has a chance to cement the lead with an additional 20 here. And, of course, he leaves Mikail a hanger. Mikail has not been doing well with these. Let's see what he can do. He does get this one, so now it's a different game. Pink team's tied up in the cup. We do have blue team has 2 pieces on. If David can sink this 20, it'll give us the advantage right back with the 2 pieces on the board. Give the blue team advantage with the 2 blue pieces on the board. Mark is obviously excited there. Very good. Pink team is left in the last 3 shots trying to clean up these low point value pieces on the outside of the board here. They're looking for sort of a Hail Mary angle-in shot. Summer does almost nothing with that. Mark stays on the outside. Mikail, again, would need some kind of very long angle-in 20. Doesn't work. He does get one in the 15, but I think David's going to manage to clear on that.
I don't know why he doesn't turn it off either. It drives me nuts.
And we're losing angle here just for a second while David lines up in front of the camera. He manages a demotion that's strong enough to keep blue team in the lead. It does not look like pink team has any possible way of draining a 20. Getting a 15 would not work because they're down a 20. Pink team needs a double off and a 15 just to tie. If they get a single off and a 20, it's a possibility as long as you remove the 10-point piece. Nope. Okay, so yeah, blue team wins again. That's 4-4, blue to pink. All right, so Mikail's starting us off. Goes long and actually right through the house with the Super Steve. Let's see what David has in store here. A little bit of a heavy hanger. It's off to the side, making it very tricky to score that. Summer would probably have a better chance shooting from the right, but I think she's just looking for a clear. She managed to catch a peg on the way out with that blue piece, so it's just sort of a busy house right now. I think Mark's trying to bump in. Yeah, he bumped one in. That was good. Pink's not completely off the board, but they still have a blue one on the field, so there's still some work to do. Okay, 2 pinks there. David's going to try maybe a double clear here, double takeout. He gets both of them and ends up with a pretty decent position next to a peg. All right, now Summer needs to get a 20 here. She just sort of rebounds one piece out. Marc does the same thing, just knocking pieces out. Doesn't want to get too close to the hole. He did roll in a little, but I think that was just mistaken and not really significant enough to make it easy for pink team to get a 20. David has to deal with another clear in the house. Hopefully roll out of the house and stay away from the 20 hole. Doesn't quite get it. Just moves the pink piece around. There's still going to be some action in the house for Marc's shot, likely. Let's see what Summer can do. She probably wants to peel this, but leaves it on. Marc's going to try and sneak on the outside and hit that piece. He ends up in a decent position, cleared the pink. Mikail's looking for a peg or something to bring this piece back in and get a 20. The board advantage goes to pink at this moment, but that can change very quickly, as we all know. David's going to try a double. Almost gets a 20 in a single, which would have been really nice, but leaves a hanger for Summer. All right, Summer drops to the right side, looking for the heavy hanger 20. Manages a slight little tap in, and it works. Still leaving the pieces in the board, though. So now we're tied in the cup, but blue has the board advantage. Marc just manages demotion, rolls out to the 10. Blue still has the advantage with the pieces on the board, but we still have 4 shots left on each team, so we'll see what happens here. Mikail's going for a possible angle shot. He goes right through the hole. It was very well aimed, but just a little too much speed on it. Dave's got a tricky situation. There's pieces in and outside of the house on either sides of a peg here for him, so it's going to be impossible to get the double. Almost impossible to get the double. Let's see what he goes for. He hits an own goal, unfortunately, and knocks a pink piece in. Really not what we were looking for at that point, or what David was looking for at that point. So let's see. Blue still has the field advantage with more pieces on and more value on the table, but that can turn at any moment depending upon the shots here. Marc's going to try and go through his own piece to bump out that pink one. He ends up losing 2 pieces, one of his, one of the opponent's, but he does roll into the 15, so there's still a reasonable board advantage. Now we're completely tied on the board, and blue team is down to 20. So what we need to see here from David is maybe a roll-in or an angled 20. Of course, at this moment, we can't see anything. We'll give it a minute and see what happens. David takes his shot, and he manages to clear and a stick in the 20. So right now, it's completely tied. Tied up with 2 20s to the pink team, 1 20 for the blue team, and then 20 points on the board for the blue team. Summer goes and just completely flubs her shot, misses completely. So we manage a valid shot and end up winning that round. So it's now 6-4, blue to pink. David leads us off, opens with a 20. Excellent start. Let's see what Summer can do. A little pause to gather some dust. Summer overshoots to the right. Again, another pause to gather some dust. It's been a little while. Okay, Mark's shooting in from the left lane, seeing if he can angle in. He gets a little bit of movement, but not quite enough. Mikail's trying to follow through here and ends up just losing his shooter.
I accomplished nothing.
Not much change on the board. Move the blue piece away from the center. That's it. David's going to try a little bit of an angle here, I think, to get into the center maybe. Yeah, he sort of bounced towards the center a bit. Ended up in a decent spot. This is not there's no easy shots on the field for Summer in this one. She's got a long follow through right up the middle or an awkward angle shot from the side that may or may not clear the pegs. She manages just to bump. Mark's happy to hit the piece from the outside and just stick outside the house. Mikail's got a double to work on or an angle shot. Looks like he just overpowered it and ran out of the house himself. So no pink on the board. Blue team's got the advantage in the cup at this point. David just misses a 20. Pink does have the hammer, but at this point, they're behind on the field. They're behind in the cup. Summer needs to maybe get a double of those pieces close to her and stick on the field. Let's see what she can do. I think she's going to try and just split those two pieces down the middle, which would likely give her a double.
Focus on hitting this one out this way instead of running closer to the center.
And unfortunately, the awkwardness of that left-sided shot made her miss completely. Mark's going to try and just nudge that piece right off the edge of the hole, and he gets the 20 with that. Well done. Okay, so Mikail's going to try and get a double or a triple there, and I think he just hit a shade off to one side, not quite enough to secure any kind of double or triple. He put the right amount of force on it. Just if you miss by too much, your piece goes careening off, and it didn't work. David gets a 20 there. Piece rolls away from him a bit. The cup is starting to run away with blue team here. We got 3-0 in the cup, blue team to pink team. So blue's up quite a bit. That's a significant advantage. Now there still are 6 shots, but there's a lot of pieces left on the board that they have to deal with first. There's that double that Summer was trying to do last turn. Marc answers back with just a clear and a stick on the outside. Mikail's trying to give himself some better position. We're getting down to the wire. Only 4 shots left for pink team, and they do not have enough on the board to sort of counteract the 320 advantage that Marc and David have. David manages to clear, and his piece rolls out. That's fine. That keeps blue team in good position. Now we're getting down to the wire. They really need to roll in and probably get a 20 with almost every shot here. Looks like Summer manages to clear and a stick next to a peg. Marc just takes out the pink one and keeps going. Mikail really needs a 20 with this. Now, since he missed that, there's almost no chance that the pink team can tie at this point. Can even tie at this point. And if that piece leaves the table, there'll be no chance. Okay, so 2 shots left. A tie is still possible. Now it is not possible. Okay, so blue team is essentially just one for sure. Now with the piece off the field, it's 100%. There's no chance pink can come back at this point. All right, Marc and David up 8-4 in this race to 9. Here we are for possibly the last round. Summer goes a little wide on her opening shot. Marc's going to try and do a little bit of a tap in. Looks like the board's a little slippery there. Mikail needs a follow through. The angle is very unlikely for a tap in from the left side, so he's going to have to just hit it real hard, see what he can do. He did follow through, but it went off to the right instead of towards the hole, leaving him in a good spot, making it hard for Dave to score anything, but Dave's going to see what he can do with that as well. Probably just get the takeout and the stick in the 15, and that's what he does. He did leave Summer with an option of a sort of a tap-in 20. Yeah, the shot is there. She went through the hole, a little too hard, but she had a good line on it, just ended up going through. Marc clears a piece out of the house. Still no 20s yet. Mikail tries another follow-through or sort of angled shot and glides right up next to the hole, leaving David with a pretty good option here for a tap-in 20 or maybe a takeout 20. Chance he loses his outside piece, but that's less of a concern at this point. He rolled a little far to his left and didn't end up getting the clear or the 20. Summer can possibly get a double out of this. Let's see what she manages. She goes a little bit wide on the right there, misses completely. Mark's going to try and go in from Hogan's Alley. He manages to clear, which is a good start, but still nothing in the cup on either side. So match can still go either way at this point. Or the round, excuse me, can go either way at this point.
Some people make the mistake of just going between the two of them. That's awesome.
Mikail sees that double that Summer sort of missed the last time. He manages to get the double and leave David with a tricky shot. There are a few lines at this. It's just a little bit on the far side of the pegs, that's all. I think David's lining up for an outside shot. He's avoiding the house completely and gets a nice takeout and sticking the 10. Summer has her choice, either inside or outside. Seeing as blue team has the hammer, she probably wants to stay in the middle, so she makes a good choice here to stick with the centerpiece, and almost manages a little sort of glancing blow slide into the 20 there, but it didn't quite come through for her. Mikail looking for maybe another double or an angle in here. He gets kind of a half of an angle in and ends up planted in between two pegs. David looks for the clear from the outside, or just a tap from the outside, which is sufficient with the pieces they have on the board. There's a very slight lead for blue with their hammer and with having several pieces on the board here. If Summer and Mikail can manage a 20 anywhere in their next four pieces, it's next four shots, it's going to make it tricky for blue team, though. They don't have an overwhelming majority of points on the board. They just have a slight advantage and hammer. Summer manages a nice takeout and stick in the 15. That actually increased their position significantly. Marc goes for the double and gets the two pieces off. We're kind of back to where we were 2 shots ago. All right, Mikail's looking for an angle, just sticks in between the pegs. Sort of blocked by the lane. The removal of that pink piece is blocked by that blue one out on the 10-5 line. See what David can do with this. He gets a tap out and places his piece up against the peg, which is good position. It's getting down to the wire, but it's still pretty much anyone's game.
Down the last round.
Summer gets a clear, sticks in the 10. Looks like Marc sees an opportunity for a double here and manages to promote up a piece too. So we got 2 pieces in the 15, one on the 10-5, which is worth 5. We got 35 on the board for blue and hammer with only 1 shot left for the pink team. Mikail manages a really solid shot there, clears 2 pieces and sticks on the 10. So all David would have to do for the win here would be to do a valid shot and stick in the 10. Stick in the 15. Even a tie would win, though. Okay, so yeah, David bounced out. Summer and Mikail win the 2 points for that now, 8-6. Marc and David in front of Summer and Mikail. Mikail just misses his open 20 after Marc scores his. David's looking for a heavy hanger from the left side. Let's see what he can get. Stretching out, making sure the shot goes well. He gets a clear. That's a good start. Leaves not an impossible shot for Summer, but a trickier angle in. It's a little bit far past where you'd like to see that blue piece for the angle in shot. I think she's setting up for more of a takeout than an angle. And then Mikail's advising her to try. At this angle, she should be able to get a nice little tap in. She goes a little too light and doesn't even touch the blue one.
Your mom has got
Leaving Marc with an open 20. Let's see what Marc can do. Marc gets the open 20. So now blue team has a pretty solid advantage. Mikail tries. He had a good line. It just was a little too fast and ended up leaving without dropping in the hole there. David, I think, is going to try a takeout. And he gets it with a little. Oh, he gets a demotion on that pink piece, and bounces off a peg into a pretty safe position behind the hole. So Summer can't really score easily. It's almost better that David didn't clear that piece, because now on the next turn, Marc will be able to just shoot the outside of the board with no fear of Mikail possibly getting a 20 there. So yeah, Marc stays to the outside. Mikail has no chance on getting a 20. They're 2 20s up, so they don't mind a few pieces hanging around in the 10 and the 15 zone as long as Marc and David can knock them out later.
Not really easy to clear.
You can clear it this way.
Marc's recommending an exit plan for that pink piece, more through between the holes. David's a little cautious about it. He wants to try a different shot. Looks like David was a little off on his line and ended up just sort of missing all the pink pieces. Still not the worst problem. Not great to give the pink team open 20 shots, but didn't quite work. Marc had a little in and out there, jumped in, jumped out. Didn't quite get the 20, which is unfortunate. He did demote a piece. Mikail's going to try an angle in here, I think. Oh, sorry, he tried just a regular takeout 20 with a heavy hanger. Didn't quite get that. Marc's recommending staying out of the house. David's going with it. He manages to leave his peg posted, which is really nice. His piece posted, which is really nice. Summer is looking for something. She's running the risk with this one, though. If she pushes that blue piece into the house, she has a chance of moving her pink piece or cause another trouble. Oh, she manages an own goal and gives the blue team a 20, which is kind of one of the problems that was lined up with that shot. Marc gets a double, which he kind of needed to get rid of all the accumulating pink pieces. Mikail managed a double with his own, so he lost one of his opponents and one of his own. Not a lot going on here. Pink is outside of the house. They don't have anything in the cup. They only have just enough shots left to tie, and a tie, of course, at this point would be a loss. So it's looking less and less likely here. And that makes it impossible. So blue team is essentially just won. They're just sort of going through the motions and hitting out the last shots to call it a day. David tries an angle in just for practice and for fun. Doesn't quite hit it, but leaves a heavy hanger. And Summer's going to try and knock it out, see if she can get a 20. I'm even cheering her on. Marc's even cheering her on at this point, recommending it because it would be fun if she could get that shot. Okay, congratulations to all the players. Excellent match. The winners are Marc and David. Let's head on over to the highlights and see some of the better shots of this particular match. Here we go with double takeout from Marc. Bounced out a little farther than he would have liked, but it still worked out. Another double takeout from Marc. Didn't quite sink to 20 there, but got close. Pretty nice double takeout from Mikail. He sort of floated into a good position too. Another double takeout from Mikail. There were a lot of double takeouts in this match. David angled in from the outside. Really technically challenging shot and very well done. This looked like a double from David. Great job. Summer ended up getting a nice little takeout 20. A knockdown 20, you might say. She gets a double as well. That was a great shot there. Thank you very much for following along. If you'd like to come to any of our events or support the club, check out our social media links below. Thank you for watching. Play crokinole. Have a good time. Stay safe.